What's going on, guys? Rob Plays here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to get better at positioning. So Apex skills can be split up into three components: macro, micro, and mechanics. Micro gameplay involves all of the small scale decisions you make in a fight, and positioning is a component of your micro gameplay. And it's something lots of Apex players either knowingly or unknowingly struggle with. Here are tips to improve at your positioning in Apex Legends. Avoiding taking damage. Your first priority with positioning is to prevent yourself from taking damage. To do this, you need to keep track of where all your enemies are and think about their line of sight from their location. If you don't know where the enemies are, don't panic and move irrationally. Take a deep breath, then either don't leave cover at all, or move tactfully until you find their location. The worst thing you can do when you don't know where the enemies are is run around aimlessly in the chaos. If you're ever one-clipped with an AR, you've made a major mistake and you need to learn from it. Once you know where the enemies are, aim to draw the fight to close range. You should move from cover to cover to do so. Oftentimes this will mean you push to a spot, shoot, push to the next spot, and shoot. You're doing this to make the enemy have to reload or heal while you take more space. And communication is key here. Let your teammates know you're pushing so you don't get caught 50 meters ahead with both teammates playing anchor. Literally just say, "I'm pushing up," so that way they react appropriately. Putting out damage. If your first priority is to avoid taking damage, your next priority has to be to put out damage. And this is where a lot of players fumble. You see, most players know where to go to play safe, but if we're in a fight and I put out 1,000 damage, but you put out 100, you are not finding opportunities to do damage. I can't stress this enough. The best positioning will eventually become bad positioning if you cannot deal damage. Know that you should always peek with as little of your character model as possible. The hierarchy of aggressive positioning goes like this. The best positions to put out damage are first, positions that the enemy can't see you from, then vertical peeks or head glitches, then horizontal peeks to the right or left of cover, then open challenges, aka 50-50s. Flanks are another option here and can go anywhere in the hierarchy depending on the situation. So first, you have positions that the enemy can't see you from. Choices here are things like grenades, fused knuckle clusters, Mad Maggie's riot drill, etc. It's obvious, but if you can put out damage and the enemy can't, you're golden. My recommendations here: save your nades until you have a knock. Most players waste their nades early in a fight, get 0 damage with the nade, and then don't have them later when they need them. Next, we have vertical peeking or head glitches. If I slowly peek out from cover here, the moment I can see the enemy, I've peeked far enough. I should not go further forward because doing so just gives the enemy a bigger target to shoot at. Teammates that make this mistake are the ones that get knocked on roofs, which I consider a mortal sin in Apex. Next, we have horizontal peeks. First, peek out right or left to find out where the enemy is, return to cover, then peek just enough to see them and shoot. It's very tempting to keep strafing away from cover, but this is a bad habit and you should fix it immediately. Last, we have open chows or 50-50s, whatever you want to call them. This is always a bad choice. There is no positioning here. You're just hoping your gun skill is better than theirs. If you do this all the time, you need to get better at positioning. Rewind and learn those previous tips. Now, for my point on flanking. If you've played BRs for a while, you know how strong flanks can be. Unfortunately, most of us slip into the habit of flanking too often. Sometimes your best bet is to just fight a 3v3 head on. Pros do this all the time. If you're gonna run a flank, my recommendation is that you at least calm to your teammates. Tell them, "I'm flanking, I'll be 5 seconds." Then when you're in position, tell them to push. I say this because it's not your teammates' job to know you're flanking. If they didn't know and then you're too slow to flank, they engage and they die, they're going to be confused why you're so late to the fight, and this is your fault. A simple guide to comms is to make sure you communicate 1, anytime you're pushing, and 2, anytime you're flanking. So whereas in 3v3s you have to think about your line of sight versus the enemies, in third-party situations you have to look at the minimap. So to start with the basics, your two goals in any 3v3 are 1, to end the fight as quickly as possible, and 2, to keep all of your teammates up and alive. You want to finish the fight and be healed up before the third party arrives, even if you didn't know you were going to be thirded. So let's say, for example, you're fighting a team outside of Promenade. You're in this building and the enemy team is in front of Promenade here. If you're third partied from this location, you're being pinched. If you can't immediately end the fight, swap shields, and reset, you should gain space away from both teams by pushing out this way to this building. From the minimap, this is going to look like you're forming a triangle between the three of your teams. This prevents you from getting pinched because the worst thing you can do is be pinched in the middle of two teams. And remember, Apex is a three-dimensional game, so the legs of the triangle, so to speak, don't need to necessarily lie on the horizontal plane. Moving to height here in Atmo Station, for example, gives you plenty of vertical distance to make this a safe spot to retreat to and then play from. The moment you're thirded, get some space and restabilize. And I'm not saying you should run from all third parties, but if you can't finish your 3v3, you're all going to die to the third, so disengaging, getting some space is a better option. How to improve. Here is a step-by-step guide on how to diagnose and fix positioning problems. 1. Self-awareness. You need to honestly assess your gameplay. We're all fallible, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you have something to learn. Record your deaths or mistakes and review them later on. 2. Note any time you 50-50 people. Note if that was your game plan all along or if it just happened. And if your only game plan in Apex is to 50-50 people, you have a case of roller brain. Ask yourself, did you have to 50-50 or could you have played cover? 3. If you do play from cover, do your teammates outdamage you? If this is you, you need to find more opportunities to put out damage. The best positioning isn't worth anything if you can't win the fight. 4. If you find ways to put out damage but you get knocked while you peeked from behind cover, did you over peek or did you react too slowly? If you over peek, learn from it and fix it, but if it's a reaction speed problem and you react too slowly to getting shot, ask yourself, why are you reacting slowly? Are you too tired when you play? Hop off and get some sleep. Are you playing on autopilot? Wake up, have some coffee. You should constantly be on edge while you play. And if you do all these things and you're still slow to react, try to become a snappier player. Pick items up quickly, loot quickly, go for flicks. This will all help you get the most out of your natural reaction speed. And there's absolutely a chance that your reaction speed is just too slow for genetic reasons, and hey, what can you do? 5. If you think you probably do all these things well and can't solve your issues through my recommendations, share your clips over at r/Apex University. Link is in the description here. The community over there has lots of skilled, insightful players that enjoy commenting on gameplay. I personally am in there every day, and it is 100% free. So that's reddit.com/r/Apex University. And 6, if you know your positioning is fine, but you're still losing 3v3s, your problem is mechanical skill. Check out my other videos. I've covered things like improving accuracy, playing knock shields, dialing in sensitivity, and I'm always working on more video topics, so please guys, like and subscribe. It goes a long way to help me stay motivated to keep making these videos. Thank you. So that's the video. If you guys learned anything at all, drop a like and a sub. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. I'll answer any questions you have to the best of my ability, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.